I read an interesting statistic once, or simply a fact, that in Europe, the average lifespan of a family name was only a short number of generations. That, in essence, families came into existence like people do, and they simply die out over time. For whatever reason, family names simply run their course and eventually go away. The name may continue on in other lines, but the bloodline, in some ways, it basically comes to an end. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but basically families come into existence and pass away just like people. And that fact is evident here. I'm at the edge of a forest here, and I'm in the mountains here in central Japan, and I'm behind a Buddhist cemetery. I'm up in the forest behind the cemetery. And what I'm looking at right here is a special monument that is to not just graves of families, but it's graves of essentially families that have died out or have gone extinct, whatever the term might be. Families that are no more. And these statues that you're looking at are various religious figures, Jizo and Kannon and others, that probably graced the family tombstones at one time. Very special, interesting, beautiful images. Some of them are newer, some of them are quite time-worn, like this one. Wow, look at that. Now, these images are associated with, as I mentioned, old families. And for the most part, these families are no longer in existence. You can see that this collective gravestone doesn't receive as much attention as most graves would. Now, the way it works is that in Japan, when families will maintain, well, unlike in the West where we have an individual gravestone for each individual, so like when I die I would have my own marker. Here in Japan, typically it's a collective affair, as everything is in Japan, whereas the entire family will have a single grave marker, and when someone dies, they are cremated and their ashes are interred along with the ashes of their ancestors, all together in one marker, one stone, collectively. And there will be one big stone that will mark the entire family and have the names of each individual who is interred within. That's basically the way it's done here in Japan. And what happens is then that the families, in maintaining, oh, look at that, we have a Ninari Kitsune. This is a Shinto figure here in a Buddhist cemetery. Interesting. Anyway, the families that the members who are alive will remember the members who are deceased by visiting the grave regularly throughout the year, such as the Ryobon ceremony in summertime, and clean the grave and have memory to them. And also, many families will maintain a home altar, the Butsudan home altar. And the temples, these graves are maintained at the Buddhist temples, and the temples will maintain the graves and take care of them. Wow, look at that. And for a long time. And but, however, after a family essentially goes extinct, there are no members left. What happens to the graves when there's no one left to take care of them? When there are no longer, what do the temple priests do when they have a gravestone that no one comes to anymore? No one lays flowers for it. No one takes care of it. No one is there to see after it. Well, the solution that I've commonly seen here in Japan is to take such graves and assemble them collectively into a single area. And that's what we're looking at right here. Up here in this forest, at the edge of the forest behind the temple, there's basically a collective gathering of graves that are no longer being attended to. Now, these are not the graves that we're looking at right here. These are the various religious symbols, the figures that are associated with it. The graves are collected behind, almost in their own little tomb, so to speak. See them back there? I'll try to lift the camera up high. There they are. Each of those stones that you're looking at is an individual family grave. marker. They will have, you can't see them, the names anymore, but each of those stones will have names on the sides, engraved on the sides. And now they're all gathered together here. There's basically no one left of these families to take care of them. And it's not necessarily a sad thing. It's just a fact of the way the world works. Families, like people, come and go. And it's rather a respectful thing that the temple, has chosen to, instead of ignoring these graves, they've gathered them together and provided a single spot where they can all be remembered in Mass. So Japanese, where everything here is basically done as a group. That's the whole, if you could summarize Japan in just, a few words, you would have to say that it's basically a communal culture. People do things together. And they live together, they work together, they play together, and even in death, they are together, whether as a family or as a community. And here in this small graveyard in the mountains, I can see an example of that. Wow, look at that one. Very big marker stone. You can see this here. It probably stood, this was probably in the ground here, and it probably stood up there. All of these markers. Well, thanks for dropping by to have a look, and to consider some of these thoughts with me. I guess I'll continue my hike up into the hills. Take care for now.